What's up, nerds? My name's Ryan, and we just checked out Toy Story 4. How does it hold up to the rest of the trilogy? Well, we're gonna let you know. So Toy Story 4 is the new story in the Toy Story franchise. It's been 9 years since we got Toy Story 3. Not much has changed in the Toy Story franchise. Woody, Buzz, and Bonnie are all still around the same age, so we haven't skipped many years, even though the time for us has changed quite dramatically. The story sets off when Bonnie goes to kindergarten and she creates Forky, a new toy for the rest of the toys. And it's a weird element to the movie because if Bonnie can create toys, she can create life. And that toy is the main center point from this movie. And Forky getting lost and Woody tracking after him. Along the way, we get to see what happened to Bo Peep and we get to meet the new villain, Gabby Gabby. But is Toy Story 4 any good? That's a massive question we have to ask. And it is. It actually is surprisingly really good. The comedy in this movie is probably the best of the entire series. The storyline, it takes elements from the past films. I mean, we've got the storyline of Woody trying to tell Forky that he's a toy and he's not trash, which is very similar to the Buzz and Woody element that we had from the first Toy Story film. And then we've also got, the elements of the lost toy, which is also very similar to Toy Story 2, where Woody gets taken by Al's toy barn and, the rest of the toys have to chase after him. That's a very similar storyline. So the story for overall is very similar to other movies, but it's also fresh in a lot of different ways, which is really cool. The CGI in this movie, if you go back all the way to Toy Story 1, which came out in 1995, the difference in the quality of CGI in this is unbelievable. There's a sequence that's in the rain, and when you look at the backgrounds for that sequence, they almost look real. I had points where I was like, are they shot this movie and then put the CGI in it? You kind of forget that you're looking at CGI at certain points because it's just so well created. It's beautiful. One of the big changes of this movie are the new characters. We get a lot of screen time with them. We don't get as much screen time with the original Andy's toys. They're kind of left behind in an RV while Woody and these new toys go find Forky and, bring him back. And that for me was kind of weird because I wanted a storyline where Woody and Buzz got to interact and hang out more, but we didn't get that. It was, he was a side character that was left behind, which for me, it wasn't as fun. It didn't feel as much like a Toy Story movie as the rest of the franchise did. And so this film as a whole for me, because of those reasons, and what I can't get into in this spoiler-free review, is the reasons why I feel like this movie feels almost like an additional film that wasn't necessary for the franchise. Yes, it's really good. The humor is great. The acting and the cast and the elements of the movie are really cool. But overall, the ending of this movie for me and where it takes the franchise just didn't work as well as it should have. The ending of Toy Story 3 was perfect, and I think it perfectly, encompassed the whole franchise, and for me was the perfect ending. So having this film change that ending for me, it just didn't work as well, and it didn't sit with me as well as it probably should. Another thing that's worth noting is this movie has a lot of horror elements. Gabby Gabby and her ventriloquist doll henchman that you've seen a lot in the trailer are terrifying. I'm 33 and I thought they were scary. I brought my kids along with me and they had their hands covering their eyes. My youngest one, who's 3, was actually curled up in a ball, like legitimately curled up in a ball in the film, not wanting to watch it because those things are straight up terrifying. I'm not sure whose idea it was to put ventriloquist dolls that have no life in them. Like, these things are running at the screen, without their arms moving and stuff. And that element, it just seems much more like a horror movie than it does a kid's movie. There's a point where I think you can take the adult humor and stuff, which is always great. In a kid's film, I love going to kids movies that know that you're going with your parents, and the parents should find the movie funny too. That always works for me. It's always a great element and dynamic in the movie. But the horror element in this it just went a little bit too far, I think. And I think you're going to find that if you're taking a kid that's maybe under 5, they're probably going to get a little bit scared of those sequences. So just be aware of them. They're in the movie and they are there and they are a bit scary. So overall, minus the ending, Toy Story 4 is a really great film. The comedy is great, the CGI is beautiful, and the story elements that are fresh are really cool, and I really enjoyed them. So my name's Ryan. If you enjoy what we're doing here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and if you like this video, make sure you give it a like because it'll really help us grow as a channel here on YouTube. And until next time, I'll catch you nerds at the movies.